Today we have Nico Janse van Rensburg from Amplify Investment Partners with us, shedding light on resilience, particularly within the financial advisory landscape. Resilience has become a critical trait for advisors, helping them navigate the ups and downs of the industry, serve their clients, and face challenges head on. We're exploring what resilience means, how it's developed, and its impact on our personal and professional lives. Niku, welcome and please briefly share your role at Amplify with us and maybe also why resilience.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to have this discussion. So, my role at Amplify is head of retail distribution. So, I look after essentially the sales team and distribution of the Amplify business. Amplify is a boutique asset management business, part of the Southern Investments Group, and we give clients access to boutique asset managers they would necessarily not have access to. So, my role is to make sure that advisors and asset aggregators are fully equipped and aware of all the Amplify value propositions and funds that we take to market. So that's essentially my role is on the sales side. And I think, as being on the distribution stroke sales side is, we deal a lot with advisors. Amplify is a intermediated business. You can only access Amplify funds through an intermediary, be it advisor or an asset aggregator. So we're very close with our advisors, and we've realized that there's quite a few things that the asset management industry gets wrong. I think there's a lot of times we're very prescriptive on how we think advisors should be giving advice. I think what we need to do more is take a little bit of a step back and see how we can help advisors build, resilience to help them give, more appropriate advice than they can. So I think there's a lot to be said about resilience. So we're doing a whole campaign on, focusing on building resilience. That we want to empower financial advisors to go, over and beyond what they think they are actually capable with at the moment, and giving, being in front of clients all the time. There's a lot involved there, and it's our process is throughout this whole campaign is to help advisors build more resilience.
I was really excited when I heard that was what we were talking about, because it's a topic close to my heart. In your experience, what defines a truly resilient advisor?
I think for me it's been an interesting journey from my own personal career point of view. I studied investment management, and 2008 was the financial crisis, and that's when I did my honors, started working part-time as a financial advisor. And we can discuss all the the shortcomings of the industry when it comes to younger advisors, but it's been a very interesting, journey for me from, being in front of clients, giving advice, in the later years, being part of distribution, but also, a private wealth portfolio manager. I think there's a lot to be said on, the just, talking about holistic financial planning, but, what goes, with that. It's, a financial advisor is everything from an investment coach to, a psychologist, everything in between, right? So I think a truly resilient advisor is somebody who has, adopted that growth mindset, learning from your mistake and accepting challenges. You're very client-centric, and I think, being more client-centric gives you a lot more, how can I say, motivation, because there's a bigger picture at play. And I think those sort of characteristics are what I see in a very resilient financial advisor.
Do you believe that comes with time, or is resilience something that we often inherently have or don't have?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think it's a bit of both. I think some people, again, everybody has different backgrounds, and you form, you can go into the psychology of everything, but you form a lot of opinions and ideas and the way you react to certain circumstances, from childhood. So I think a lot of people are inherently more resilient than others, but I really do think that there's a lot to be learned. You can teach resilience. Again, experience plays an important role in being a more resilient financial advisor. Because obviously you've been through different market cycles from an investment point of view. You've seen a lot more different client needs and wants, and etc. So but to answer your question, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's inherent and innate, but I think also it can be taught and learned over time.
There's a lot of questions in my mind, and you touched on the younger advisors and the challenges for them. Um, what is the journey that they can go on, either from their side or from the manager's side, on how to go on? There's a lot of things that they have to learn, but I think once you have resilience, it makes your journey so much easier. So, how do you how do you learn to be more resilient as a young advisor specifically?
Yeah, I think it's so tough. I mean, we I briefly touched on my experience, and it was experience of, you start out of varsity or whatever the case might be. The first thing you want to do is make money, right?
Mm,
That's what so you kind of forget that there's, holistic financial planning involved, and it's not just about selling a life policy to get to get commission at the end of the month. But I think that habit is the industry is trying to change, but I think that habit has been instilled with a lot of younger advisors. It's to get by, you need to sell a policy. So I mean, we can go in lots of detail on how it should be done, but I think a lot of the large institutions are doing the best they can to help educate and make it more make advice more approachable for a younger advisor. And I think that's the key there is for a more younger resilient advisor is kind of to look at it for the longer term. This is still going to be a career, right? This is not a something I'm going to do now because I can't get a job. You really need to buy into the idea that people need to get financial advice. Doctors, if you're sick, you go to the doctor. If you need financial assistance, financial advice, you go to a financial advisor. So I think a truly resilient young advisor is somebody who can see that for the longer term and really believe that they are there to make a change in their potential clients' lives, because that's really what you do. If you are going to be, and it's difficult. Sorry, just to go take a step back again. It's difficult because you're young. Somebody with lots of money is not necessarily going to give you, the hard-earned money to invest if you don't have any experience in the market. So it's also, I think, building that resilience of understanding that there's going to be lots of setbacks in the beginning. That you are probably going to, maybe sell more short-term insurance, life insurance in the beginning before you start, getting more investments on board. So I think it's focusing on the long term and really seeing it as a career and a professional career at that.
Your comment makes me think of the comment we always tell our clients: it's time in the market, right? So
Yeah.
as your career, it's time in the market, and the longer you
Correct.
stay, the more you're going to learn. Um, what are some of those unique challenges advisors face that make resilience so critical?
I think this is a very, very long list, and I think it also depends on sort of the type of advisor. And like I said, Amplify, we deal with lots of different, advisors. Some we deal exclusively with high net worth individuals, and some exclusively with, maybe employee benefits or what the case might be. But I think that one thing that's very prevalent, sort of at the moment, well, not at the moment, for quite some time, is if you focus from a South African point of view, I think for the first time in a long time, there's a bit of a sentiment change, but there's always, struggles, and South Africa comes with its challenges, right? So, a lot can be said about, the Gini coefficient and unemployment and all these type of things. But so it's important to be able to navigate these differences, right? To understand there's lots of noise, but there's also a lot of things that are very important. So you face with, not just political and economical challenges, but there's also cultural challenges. And I think that's also an important thing that's not always addressed is, understanding how different cultures perceive wealth and money. So that's another challenge that advisors face, is to understand, client X, Y, and Z and client A, B, and C might have the same amount of money to invest, but they see money completely different, your wealth completely different. And it's understanding those nuances. And I think if you start understanding that, which is a big challenge, and you're open-minded to go down that road, I think there's a lot to be gained through that. So I think those top of mind. I think those are very South African specific challenges. And I've also seen our team has seen people who embrace this, these differences and these challenges head on are the ones that are more successful. Are the ones that have clients entrusting them more often than not.
I think South Africans as a nation are fairly resilient if you compare us
Yes.
to a lot of people from all over the world. So I think as a nation, because of our journey and where we've been, we've become really resilient. But my question really is, do you know if you are resilient as an advisor? And maybe on the other side of the coin, would you know if you're not resilient and actively try and change that?
It's an interesting question. Yeah. So I think, out of experience, if I look at maybe family members who've got a very close relationship with their advisors, and then some who don't even speak to that advisor, on an annual basis. I think it's definitely a case of, financial advisors who are more resilient, are the ones that, clients stick with for the very, very long time. I think if you're a resilient advisor if you've got those clients for, and obviously, speaking to advisors who are, have been in the industry for a very long time. I think you understand that you are resilient if you've got those clients that have been with you for the long term and are, it's one thing that I've always hear about, financial advisors is, a lot of their clients are like family or like good friends, so and they started off as a business transaction, but it actually evolved into a friendship. So I think, and that resilient advisor knows that they are resilient. But I think on the flip side is, and they've learned through their mistakes, and they've embraced sort of this growth mindset. I think, to your second part, the flip one is, I think you would realize if you aren't a resilient advisor, if you do struggle with, clients trusting you and building those, forging those relationships with clients. So and I think, we've got a responsibility from an Amplify point of view, if, yes, we're an asset management business, and so, first and foremost, what we want to do is, provide clients with access to proper investment, solution set. But we also have I think, a duty to empower these advisors who want to be resilient. So whatever we can do to assist that, and it's again, like advice, it's not a one size fits all. So I think that's why we're going down this path of resilience. Is I think what we've got lined up and what we're going to do is a lot to talk about the psychological stuff, the financial stuff, but also the different things and how you can use that within your practice. So some things will be a no-brainer for a lot of advisors, but I think some things that we are going to discuss in our throughout this campaign is going to, I think, strengthen the hand of the advisor in the field, and that's really what we want to do from an Amplify point of view. So I hope I answered your question. I think the resilient advisor will know that they are resilient, but they also will be very cognizant of the fact that I think it's an ongoing skill that you need to maintain and build on. So hopefully we can add to that as well.
No, it sounds all very exciting. So now, as an advisor, I've now listened to you. I've been part of your campaign, and I realize that I probably am not that resilient as I thought. What are some of the maybe habits or mindsets that can help advisors bounce back from that realization?
I think there's a big thing to be said about self-compassion, to be compassionate about yourself and realize, okay, because you help to maintain your motivation if you are. So realizing that I've got a shortcoming and there's something I need to focus on and work. So I think self-compassion is very important. I think I mentioned earlier, staying client-centered or client-centric gives you a bigger purpose, and that mindset, again, the growth mindset, is very important to learn from your mistakes. But I think also a very important thing is seek advice. If there's a part of your business, let's call it the investment management world, where you feel you've got a shortcoming. So either do an investment course, or where you feel that your strengths are, maybe outsource. If investment management is not your strength, you can always outsource it to the likes of a DFM or whatever. So it's understanding what your shortcomings are, and getting the advice or the outsource that where it's needed. And I think those type of things, I've seen it with, in my previous life as a portfolio manager in the high net worth space, sitting with advisors, with their clients, and having a discussion, they have a complete discussion. I have absolutely no idea. I've got a good idea of what they're discussing and the importance of it. But I'm there to help with the investment discussion, because I realize that's not what they're good at. So immediately the client understands, like, okay, you're going to give me this holistic financial advice, but you also bring in an expert to assist where you've got shortcomings. And I think those type of things that's again how you build these trust relationships with clients, is to say, listen, this is not, I'm going to give you everything that you need, but this is where my shortcomings are, and I'm going to outsource it. I'm going to use this, DFM or whatever the case might be. Yeah. And I think those mindsets of, understanding that you can, it's not just about surviving the storm, it's about harnessing the power of the storm, and if you think about things a little bit differently, then I think you build that resilience, and that mindset, I think, is quite important.
I really like that. It's okay to admit that you're not perfect in everything and to call in the help. So it's really good. Do you think that mentoring and coaching is something that can help on a journey to become more resilient?
Absolutely. And I think that goes across the board, from a junior financial advisor, anybody in our industry, anybody working for a corporate. I think it's absolutely crucial. I think there's, I can speak from experience. Wherever I've had a mentor or a manager that's been more a leader, and mentoring through difficult circumstances, be it personally or work-wise. I think that's so important, because especially with the younger generation, and we are, everybody, and I guess I'm still part of the younger generation, I'm not sure, but it is that instant gratification that really is a big stumbling block, where you want everything needs to happen now, and you want it now, and it needs to happen now. The same with financial advice, but I think also the same comes with, to build that resilience, is to understand that not everything's going to happen now. And I think mentorship and leadership really helps with that, is because you're talking to somebody, and somebody is assisting you that's been through this.
Yeah.
It can impart wisdom and potentially tools to help you when this happens to you, whatever the case might be. And I think, especially for young advisors, I think if there's a good mentorship program in place, I think it's that just breeds success for sure.
It's a topic very close to my heart, mentorship, coaching, having a sponsor. And one of the things that I've heard, and maybe also good to mention, is that it's okay. You can have like 3 or 4 mentors or coaches. You don't only need one. So maybe there is one person that really fulfill this role for you, and someone else touch on other things in your life. But I think people need to know that it's okay to have quite a few mentors and coaches to help you grow in different areas of your life.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I agree.
We speak to advisors, brokers, and obviously also to a lot of people that do not deal with Amplify Investment Partners. If they think that this is like really a cool campaign, can they be part of that if they don't deal directly with you? And then maybe just end off with a last message to our audience, including that.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Rianet. So we'll make this available to, it's going to be available on our website. There's a hub that'll have all the information. So all our video interviews, all our campaign documents, articles, etc. Everything will be on our Amplify website. And so it's available free, and you can download whatever needs to be downloaded and view whatever you want to view. So yes, it'll be available to anybody who doesn't necessarily deal with Amplify. So our idea here is, this is not, we're not necessarily all the secret sauce. We're not going to keep the recipe to ourselves. We want, this is, for us to put it out there, and and people can go and look and use what they think will add value to their lives. And that's really what we want to do, is have another value add for our financial advisors and and brokers. And then maybe then just the last parting words is, I mentioned this in the beginning. I think it's for us, this journey with financial advisors, because we are intermediate at business. We understand that we are in the investment space, but I think if we can bring in experts from outside to assist our financial advisors to be more resilient and and building, more resilient advisors, I think it's really a win-win for everybody. It's a win for us at Amplify because, we know that, advisors are giving the most appropriate advice to their clients. It's a win for the advisor because, they can attract more clients potentially. And I think it's also the most important thing is, for clients at the end of the day, if you've got a resilient financial advisor or broker, it's somebody you can trust that will be there when, the go gets tough, and to weather those storms, through any, be it a market, political, economic cycle. So for us, that's really what we want to do is empower our financial advisors to be able to assist clients and help, then, we've got a responsibility, and that's to help the investment community and clients out there grow their assets. And, and that's how you can do that is you build a better economy. So for us, that's important. And I think that's a role that we can play. And we're happy to put our hands up and play that role.
Thank you for your time. It's a topic close to my heart, as I said, and I think we can all just learn and grow. You're never too old to learn, and resilience is something like you mentioned that you constantly have to work on. So thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll chat again.
Thanks, Rianet. Appreciate it. And thank you for your time.